Prlz are a newly added currency in Splatoon 3's Side Order DLC, which are used to unlock more hacks and buy items from the creepy Cipher guy in the corner of the plaza. But they are pretty hard to get, and I wanted to know what's the most efficient way to get them. So I decided to play through Side Order non-stop for several days, recording data on everything in the game in an effort to find out the answer. Watch out gamers, I've committed a science. This guide will be split into several sections depending on how far you are in the game. This is because there's different strategies that work best for your progress level, and also it's a good way to avoid spoilers in case you haven't gotten very far in the story. If you are super early in the game, I'd suggest you spend some Prlz on some extra lives, since mistakes happen and the higher up you can climb the tower, the more Prlz you'll earn. But if you haven't cleared floor 30 even once, you're way too early in the game to be worried about efficient Prl farming methods. Just buy them in the vending machines if they show up and enjoy the game for now. Your main task right now is to learn how to handle the different stages and basic mechanics, because being able to clear floor 30 will help you farm Prlz later. Once you have reached floor 30 at least once, and I will pause in case you aren't that far and want to avoid spoilers, you will have a lot more hacks available, and at this point you want to invest all of your Prlz into the hack at the very bottom of the list, the Membucks rewards, followed by the vending machine discount, then you'll want to buy the guaranteed vending machines, and last comes the vending machine reset. The point of all of these hacks is to 1. Make you loaded with Membucks, and 2. Give you access to a ton of vending machines so that you can do the first effective form of Prl farming, and yes, I have some stats for you on these. Different difficulty levels will give you a different amount of rewards. Easy levels are most common on the first 10 floors, but their average reward is only 50 Membucks, so I would actually say avoid doing these at all costs. Normal levels are most common on the second 10 floors, the teens floors, with an average reward of 160 Membucks. Only do these if they have a chip you want. The rewards are too small otherwise. Hard levels are also pretty common on the teens and 20s floors, with a nice bump to 375 Membucks on average, and the rigorous levels are your best buds in the 20s floors, since they can get you almost double that at 650 Membucks on average. The name might make these stages sound scary, but with all of the chips you've collected from the first 10 floors, these should be doable unless you have like the random danger modifier, in which case I would avoid them. With the Membucks reward hack, you can get up to 50% more Membucks per clear, and this is important because your extra Membucks at the end of the run get converted to Prlz. Every 100 Membucks you own turn into 1 Prl, and this will round up, so if you have 101 Membucks, that is 2 Prlz for you. So if we go back to the difficulty settings and how much you earn on average, easy floors will get you 1 Prl, normal will get you 2, hard gives you 4, and rigorous can give you 7, but also way much more than that. However, this is only the base conversion rate, and things get even better once you start going to the vending machines. At each vending machine, you have a 20% chance of seeing a Prl, but it's not just 1 Prl, it's 25 Prlz for the low price of 1000 Membucks. If you save that many Membucks till the end, you would only get 10 Prlz, so you're getting 15 extra Prlz for free. With the additional 2 guaranteed vending machines, you can expect to find at least one of them with Prlz in it, and a lot more if you're lucky. Once you have saved up enough Prlz to buy the vending machine discount, the cost of these Prlz will go all the way down to 500 Membucks, making them even cheaper. And with the final hack update, the vending machine reset, you can reroll its available stock so that you can get even more Prlz. That's right, you can buy Prlz, then reset the vending machine and buy even more. The reason I suggest you get this hack last is because it's most useful at its highest level, where the reset will cost you only 200 Membucks, but it gets higher each time you reset. Otherwise, the reset is so expensive that you probably won't be able to afford more Prlz, even if they were to suddenly become available. To sum it up, the mid-game strategy is to invest into the Membucks rewards hacks, followed by all of the vending machine related hacks, with resets being saved for last, since this will allow you to buy a bunch more Prlz during your run. Using this strategy, you can get at least 100 Prlz per run just from the vending machines alone. Now, once you've completed all of these hacks, it's time to move on to phase 3, the late game Prl farming phase. This is also the most fun one in my opinion, but it requires you to have all of the previous hacks already unlocked. The most efficient efficient way to farm pearls is actually to run a monochrome palette, but this is really hard to pull off without all of the vending machine hacks active, as well as all of the random factors hacks active. You will want to get the chip color bias in order to skyrocket the odds of getting that one specific chip color. The floor reset hack will allow you to refresh the available chips per floor for a low price. And finally, the double chip rate will help you fill out the palette faster, although even at 15% I feel like I never get it anyways. If you rely on the random factors alone, getting a full palette will still be a challenge, which is why having more Membucks and vending machines makes a huge difference, since you can buy up to 3 chips per vending machine, and just like with the pearls, you can reset the stock and buy some more. So if you're visiting a vending machine with say 4,000 Membucks, you can walk out with an extra 6 chips for your palette. As an added incentive, once you do completely fill out your palette, the available floor rewards will all be pearls, so the sooner you fill it out, the more overall pearls you can collect in your run. But it's not that many, so don't sweat it if you can't quite reach the 36 chip limit. Now here is why getting a full monochrome palette matters. At the end of the run, you will get various bonuses depending on the type and number of color chips collected. You will get 500 points per chip, up to 36 chips, which means a nice 18,000 points just for completing the palette. And yes, that means filling out the palette gets you 180 pearls. But what really matters here is a little thing called the tone chain bonus. And this thing goes crazy. Basically, for each consecutive chip you have that happens to be of the same color as the chip before it, hence the chain, you get 100 points times the number of chips in the chain, -1. The first one doesn't count as being part of the chain. So 1 purple chip gets you no bonus, 2 purple chips get you 100 points of bonus, 3 purple chips get you 200 more points of bonus since it is the second chip in the chain, and yes, this is on top of the 100 points from before. 4 purple chips get you an extra 300 points, and it goes on and on all the way to the final 36th chip, which will give you 3,500 extra points. So if you get a perfect monochrome palette, you will snag a very nice bonus of 62,900 points, and that is 629 more pearls. So pulling off a monochrome run will net you at least 800 extra pearls, but pulling this off can be a bit difficult, and you're basically limited to getting a monochrome of the main tone of your palette of choice. If you'd like to see an example of how you can get a monochrome palette, I've made a little walkthrough video where I show you my thought process as I do a monochrome run. You can find it in the description down below. It's okay if you end up not getting a perfectly monochrome run, as long as you avoid breaking the chain in the middle of the run. Although if you do need to break the chain, do so at the start or end of the run. I'm talking the first 2 floors or the last 2 floors. Otherwise, you'll be losing over 100 pearls for going off color. Yes, that is how ham the chain bonus goes. Now that you've got the basics, it's time to talk about the more complex part of the game and questions you may have. Number 1, is the risky rewards hack worth it? If you don't know what this hack is, it is unlocked after clearing floor 30 for the first time, and it costs a whopping 333 pearls to unlock. All it does is give you a pearl multiplier after clearing floor 30 again, but you get 0 pearls if you fail or quit before that. And the multiplier gets lower and lower the more hacks you have active. I would strongly advise you to not use this hack until you've cleared floor 30 with at least 3 different pallets and can comfortably make your way through the tower. Otherwise, the only pearls you will be getting are the ones you buy from vending machines. Once you are comfortable enough to clear floor 30, you can activate this, but keep in mind that having all of the useful hacks for maxing out a monochrome palette will only get you to the 30% boost. Realistically, I would advise you to just run all of the hacks you have available instead of trying to get a higher percent boost from the risky rewards, since you're also more likely to fail if you have less lives, do less damage, take more damage, or take a really long time to recover your armor. Mistakes happen, and the risky rewards are not worth it in my opinion. If you do succeed, there's like 200 extra pearls you can win with a 30% boost, but one mistake means losing out on 800 other pearls, and it's not worth it in my opinion, especially if you spend the last 25 minutes climbing the tower. Number 2, how much does the bias boost help? It helps so much that if you don't have this active at max level, you're actually going to struggle a lot going monochrome. That's because this game fails to tell us something very important. The 2 common tones listed for each palette are actually the opposite of common, and I double checked this statement by doing a second one with 0 bias while keeping track of every chip that shows up because it did not sound right, but as it turns out, it's right. At base, with 0 bias, the 2 common chips listed on the palette are both available 15% of the time. And since there's only 6 chip colors, that means the other 4 have a rate of 18% each, so the 2 common tones are actually the 2 least common tones. One level of bias rises the frequency of the most common tone to 23% and the second level to 30%. Bias levels do not affect the sub rate, and they do not affect the likelihood of getting these tones in the vending machines, and I double checked this so many times it doesn't seem to be affecting them at all. So with maxed out bias, the most common tone is going to show up 30% of the time, the second tone 15% of the time, and the other tones 14% each. So if you're trying to do a monochrome run, you always want to focus on the most common tone. Number 3, are there any other bonus combos? So far, the only other combos I've seen are the Prism combo, which is only worth 500 points, and you get it by having a chip of each color back to back. In my opinion, this is not worth it at all, since a chain combo of 5 chips would be worth 1500 points, triple the amount. Then you've got the lives left bonus, giving you 400 points per life left. So it is worth it to max out your lives and to replenish any lost ones at vending machines, since each life you do have gives you an extra 4 pearls. And last but not least, you've got the remaining Membucks bonus, which is the one I talked about at the beginning with the conversions. There might be some other bonuses that are yet to be discovered. If you have found any, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. I am very curious to see what they are, or maybe the data miners will tell us what the other bonuses are. At the moment, I don't know, so just focus on the monochrome. Number 4, can I increase the odds of getting certain chips? This one is a bit hard to figure out, so take it with a grain of salt, but basically once you get one unique chip, the odds of getting a repeat would be 1 in 7 if the chip you get is orange. But once you get 2 unique chips, the odds of getting a repeat ought to be increased to 2 in 7 because you have 2 out of the 7 unique ones. The problem is that the more unique chips you get, or maxing out a chip, changes the odds of getting a repeat, and with the limited number of Membucks for floor resets, that meant I get very limited data. The good news is that I did get a couple of stretches where I could do a bunch of resets and see the actual odds, and in them, the occurrence of duplicates was pretty much the same as that of random chance. So according to this very limited guesstimate, no, you do not get a higher chance of getting a repeat of a specific chip. This is a bit of a bummer if you're trying to farm for specific chips like say the Splatling Barrage chip, which now you know would be easier to get if you're running the Splatling with 0 bias. Either way, just collect chips of the same color for the pearls. It doesn't matter what the actual chip is as long as it's of the same color. That's all that matters. Number 5, are some weapons better to use than others? While I would say just use what you like if you are trying to go for the most efficient time as well, I would recommend you look into things like the brush or charger, since the main buffs you can get for them make both of the weapons extremely broken and fun to use in my opinion. The only weapon I'd say you shouldn't use for farming pearls is the very last one you unlock, but I will not explain why because spoilers. And that about covers everything you need to know about farming pearls in Splatoon 3 side order. Remember to leave a like if you found this guide helpful, and check out some of the other research guides I've made on this game. Either way, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll squid you in the next one.